The Chinese entertainment world is never short of surprises, but what happened that day exceeded anyone's expectations. Fans attending the prestigious event initially intended to enjoy the meeting of two big stars, the warm atmosphere, and the friendly smiles they usually displayed in public. No one expected that day to turn into the most emotional, most shocking, and most loving moment witnessed in recent years. A moment that will continue to be replayed, discussed, and remembered by millions of people around the world. That day was the day when Xiao Zhan, who had always been known to be so careful, so secretive, and so protective of his privacy, finally uttered one word that split the atmosphere of the room: love. It all started casually and orderly. The invited guests sat neatly. The reporters set up their cameras, while the lucky fans couldn't stop whispering excitedly at the sight of these two big names in the entertainment world on one stage. Xiao Zhan stepped up with the calm gait that always mesmerized his fans. His smile was gentle, his eyes shone warmly. But there was something different that day, something that couldn't be explained in words. Wang Yibo, who was sitting a few meters from the stage, looked more serious than usual. There was no mischievous smile, no cold expression, just an intense gaze that seemed to be waiting for something. When Xiao Zhan was given the opportunity to speak, the entire room suddenly fell silent. He held the microphone with both hands, took a slow breath, and looked at the audience. But his gaze didn't stop there. It moved, searching, and finally stopped at a point most familiar to his eyes. No one could deny that the direction of his gaze was so clear, so specific, and so meaningful. It was directed right at Wang Yibo. In the almost suffocating silence, Xiao Zhan began to speak in a soft voice that usually calmed his fans. But this time, his voice sounded heavier, more honest, as if he was saying something he had kept to himself for too long. He thanked his fans, the organizers, and everyone who had supported him all this time. But then, with a pause so long that it made everyone's hearts pound, Xiao Zhan continued with a sentence that changed everything. He said that all this time there had been someone who meant a lot to him, someone who was not only a coworker, not only a close friend, but someone who was able to give him strength in the darkest moments of his life. He bowed his head for a moment, smiled slightly, and when he lifted his face again, the words finally came out. "I think it's time to be honest. I love her." The word love echoed throughout the room like a thunderclap that could not be muffled. Fans held their breath, some even covering their mouths with both hands, while reporters frantically adjusted their camera angles so as not to miss a single second of this historic moment. And that was when all eyes followed Xiao Zhan's gaze, directed at the man who had been associated with him for years, both professionally and emotionally, Wang Yibo. Wang Yibo's reaction at that moment was something that no one who witnessed it would ever forget. His usually calm and inscrutable face suddenly changed. His eyes widened slightly, then softened. His lips moved as if he wanted to say something but was held back by surprise. He looked away, bowed his head, and rubbed the back of his neck, a nervous gesture that he rarely showed in public. Fans who knew him well knew immediately that this was not acting, not a gimmick, not part of the show. It was a genuine, honest, and pure reaction that came from something he felt deep inside. When the MC called Wang Yibo's name to respond, the entire room boiled over with tension again. Wang Yibo stood up slowly, catching his breath, but his eyes couldn't leave Xiao Zhan. The two pairs of eyes met, and in that meeting there were so many unspoken words, so many overflowing emotions, so many stories from the past that seemed to resurface. The world seemed to stop spinning just to witness them. In a low but clear voice, Wang Yibo finally spoke. "I think some things don't need to be explained because I feel it too." And with that simple sentence, the entire room erupted in cheers, shouts, tears of joy, and uncontrollable excitement. The cameras shook from unsteady hands. Reporters glanced at each other in disbelief, and even the event staff looked shocked. After the official event ended, what happened backstage further fueled all the speculation that had already spread quickly. An amateur video recorded by a fan showed Wang Yibo walking after Xiao Zhan, who had just left the stage. He gently touched Xiao Zhan's arm, a movement so natural it was as if he had been doing it for years. Xiao Zhan turned his head and smiled slightly, a smile he couldn't hide even though he tried. They walked side by side, talking quietly, and at one point, Wang Yibo leaned over slightly to whisper in Xiao Zhan's ear. Xiao Zhan's reaction was so sweet. His cheeks flushed, he nodded slowly, and his smile widened as if he had just heard something that meant a lot to him. The video went viral in just a few minutes, viewed millions of times, replayed over and over, and became the main topic of conversation on various social media platforms. Hashtags related to them dominated global trending topics, from Asia to America. Fans couldn't stop expressing their happiness, writing theories, comparing old moments, and proving that all the signs so far were not an illusion. They concluded one thing in common: love is real, and it has finally been confirmed. Meanwhile, the media began writing article after article, discussing the complete chronology of the two stars' relationship from the first time they met, worked together, to the small moments that now seem so clear as signs that their feelings for each other were much deeper than just friendship. Even the most skeptical journalists admitted that there was no way to deny such strong, intense, and emotional visual evidence. Until now, the world is still waiting for their next move. Will they make an official statement? Will they appear at another event together and confirm their relationship? Or will they let everything speak through their gazes, smiles, and gestures, which are enough to describe the unspoken? One thing is certain. It is now firmly etched in everyone's memory. The day when Xiao Zhan finally said love and Wang Yibo responded with a subtle confession that shook the world. It was a moment that not only made history in the entertainment world, but also changed many people's views on the meaning of courage, honesty, and love that can no longer be hidden. The world may keep moving forward, but that moment, the second when everything was finally revealed, will always remain a beacon of light that will never fade.